All right, it's that time of the year, the Truck Series chase predictions. Yeah, the schedule's so fucked up with the chases because the truck chase starts this weekend at IRP, and the Cup chase, it doesn't start until Labor Day weekend at Darlington for the Southern 500. And then the Xfinity chase doesn't start until the Bristol night race near mid to end of September. So yeah, the schedules are so fucked up with the chase and everything that honestly, this is another example why the fucking Chase Truck Series does not need a fucking chase grid. But of course, I really don't want to do these type of videos, but of course, this has been a channel tradition every year where we do the Truck Series chase grid predictions along with Cup and Xfinity. So this is the first one this year that will get its own video, the Truck Series one. So, of course, the Truck Series regular season came and went, and now we have 10 drivers left to battle it out for the Truck Series championship. So, let's go over the 10 drivers this year to see who has a chance to win the championship this year. So, here are the 10 drivers on the screen here that will do battle for this Truck Series championship. So, here are the 10 drivers that will do battle. So, first off, we have our regular season champion, Corey Heim. Heim got 2 wins this year, won the regular season title. Like, pretty much Corey Heim, all those years of Heim leeching in the trucks, in the 51 truck for KBM and the leech truck, it really paid great experience dividends for Heim. As Heim, there were a lot of questions about if Heim would struggle because Tricon was effectively David Gillen Racing, and David Gillen doesn't know how to run a truck team to save his life, but all those thoughts were squashed to bed. And Corey Heim, he's become the prospect everyone said he was. Like, pretty much picking up to the days he had in ARCA when he was a dominant driver too. Just too bad Ty Gibbs was better than him. But Corey Heim, I think Heim, he might be the favorite to win the championship this year. Like, I think Heim is the man to beat for the title this year. Just Corey Heim has looked very good this year. Just has had speed everywhere we go. Has been fast too. Very consistent. I think Heim 100% could go deep in the chase under the right circumstances. I think Heim's the favorite for the championship. Next up, we got Zane Smith. The reigning defending Truck Series champion is back in the chase to defend his title. I mean, at the start of the year, it looked like Zane Smith was going to be the man to beat the first half of the season because he was the best truck driver in trucks the first half of the year. But the second half of the season, he has been pretty inconsistent. Like, he has just fallen off a cliff. Like, he has just been very inconsistent and leads some questions, though. Can Zane Smith go back-to-back? Because back-to-back champion has only happened under this format one time. And that was Tyler Reddick and Xfinity in 2018 and 2019. I think Zane Smith 100% has the possibility to go back-to-back. Especially with how good he is at Phoenix. There might be some warning signs still, but you could make the argument that maybe front row was testing and tuning, and that's why they were inconsistent for much of the second half of the season. And that they'll turn on the chase. I mean, that's very possible. We'll have to see for sure, but I wouldn't put it down at one bit, but I think definitely Zane Smith, the possibility of him going to back-to-back is there. Next up, Carson Hocevar. Hocevar has had a breakout season. And not only did Carson Hocevar get his first career win, he got 3 wins. In fact, he leads all the drivers in the Truck Series this year in most wins. And out of Truck Series regulars, that is, if you don't count Kyle Busch. Yeah, Hocevar got 3 wins. He got the win at Texas earlier this year. Also got wins at Nashville. And he won the regular season finale at Richmond. Hocevar, he's starting to come into his own. It's kind of crazy how great Hocevar can be when Darian Gilliam isn't tweeting about him all the goddamn time. And Darian actually shuts the fuck up for once. But yeah, great to see Carson Hocevar finally living up to potential. He even got a Cup Series start this year in the 7 car for Spire Motorsports when Chase Elliott got suspended for trying to murder Denny Hamlin. But yeah, Carson Hocevar even get a bunch of Xfinity starts too. Like, I think Xfinity is probably the next step for Hocevar for his career, but definitely a great step in the right direction for him this season. And I think if Hocevar plays his cards right and stays out of trouble, I think Kosovar 100% can go deep to the Final Four. But can he do it? He has to get past the first round first. I think Kosovar is easily a boom or bust driver in the Trucks chase this year. Next up, Christian Eckes. Eckes has had a bit of a breakout season this year. He got 2 wins this year. And, well, really, he's been inconsistent a bit at times this year. There were times where he was very consistent up there with Hyman Smith. But the last little bit, he just hasn't been consistent, just been a bit inconsistent. A little question marks I have for him for sure, but, you know, maybe he gets hot in the chase at the right time and they were just testing and tuning some stuff before the chase, you know, could make that argument. But, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. Next up, Grant Enfinger. Grant Enfinger, once again, is carrying that sad sack of a shit team, that shit pile known as GMS, to relevance. Like, let's be real. If Grant Enfinger wasn't at GMS would be fucking garbage in Trucks. Grant Enfinger is single-handedly carrying that shit pile of a team to relevance. Just like Sheldon Creed did before him and Brett Moffitt before them. But yeah, Enfinger got a couple wins this year. You know, I think Enfinger 100%. Enfinger's always been consistent in the chase. 100% I think he can go to the round of 8. Could potentially maybe get to the round of Final Four if he fucks around enough and makes it to the Final Four. He can make it to the Final Four. You know, I think Enfinger is one of those sleeper picks for the championship. Next up, Ty Majeski. Now, Majeski, he doesn't have a win this year. But I think Majeski is once again one of the biggest sleeper picks entering for the championship this year. Because even though Thor Sport hasn't had the speed that we've been used to seeing in the past, mainly I think the switch from Toyota to Ford this year played a factor in it. But Ty Majeski has been very consistent all season. He's been, like, his consistency is up there with Corey Heim and Shane Smith. He's been as consistent as both of them. Problem is, he just hasn't had race winning speed to put it all and has been unable to seal the deal. But keep in mind, last year, Ty Majeski entered the chase in the same position as this year. Like, Majeski was just very consistent, but didn't have race winning speed. And then in the chase, Majeski got 2 wins and made it to the Final Four. Both wins coming in the round of 8 at Bristol and Homestead. You know, 100% I think Majeski could win a race and make it back to the Final Four. But can he stay consistent in the chase? That's the question. Next up, Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes, I'm not sure what happened to Ben Rhodes, but ever since Rhodes won that 2021 Truck Series title, Rhodes is just falling off a cliff. Like, he's just been there. Like, there have been times throughout the last couple years where I forgot Ben Rhodes was still in the series. Like, he's been pretty kind of irrelevant since then. Only got a couple wins since that Truck Series championship. I mean, this year he got his first paved oval win in 2 years since Daytona 2021 when he won Charlotte earlier this year. But his consistency just hasn't been the same as it was back in like 2021 and before on. Just hasn't been the same driver since that Truck Series title. Like, my expectations for him aren't that high. Like, I think his ceiling is at least round of 8. Who knows? Maybe he fucks around and makes it to the Final Four again. You know, it's a possibility, but I do have my doubts. Next up, Nick Sanchez. I mean, out of all the ARCA, out of everyone from the ARCA rookie class from last year, Nick Sanchez has easily been the most impressive one out of all of them. Him and Sammy Smith, I mean, because Sammy Smith is in Xfinity, though. But, I mean, out of all the ones that are in trucks right now, with those truck ones being, like, he's been impressive in there along with Corey Heim. Like, those two have easily been the shining spots out of all of them. Because Taylor Gray just hasn't been there along with Raja Karut and Daniel Dye. They've just out of all of them, Sanchez and Heim have been the two most consistent. I knew Sanchez was probably going to be the best rookie in the class, but I did not think he would actually make the fucking chase. But yeah, this year is just a learning season for Sanchez. Just learn the system, get some experience, get his feet wet, and then next year come back stronger and make a run at the championship. But yeah, but Sanchez, I think if Sanchez could play his cards right, he's been very consistent. He's come close to winning on a couple occasions. Arguably should have won Texas, but blew that race. So that sucked there. But, you know, Sanchez, he could go to deep in the chase if he plays his cards right. But, you know, it's just a learning year experience for him. But wouldn't be surprised if he made it to the round of 8, though. Because I think he's starting to get a little bit consistent and gaining some momentum. I think he's starting to figure the series out. The expectations, I don't have many expectations for him in the chase, but his future is definitely bright, 100%. Next up, Matt DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto is back in the chase for the first time since he made the Cup Series chase in 2020. But yeah, last year for DiBenedetto, he took his first baby steps of becoming a top competent Truck Series driver when he got a win at Talladega last year. And this year, he took the next step forward with Rackley and brought them to the chase. Like, he has been very consistent throughout much of the season, has kept that truck clean, out of trouble, keeping it out of trouble and finishing the races at the end, getting the best out of that truck he possibly could. Like, Matt DiBenedetto is easily an underrated driver, 100%. A lot of people just hate and shit on him because a lot of people just let their political and religious beliefs cloud their judgment. Like, that's the only reason anyone hates DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto is a nice guy and a very underrated driver. Like, it always seems like Matt DiBenedetto always does better with less around him. Like, 100%, Matt, there was a lot of questions about Matt DiBenedetto when he came to trucks, when he decided to restart his career from scratch. But little did we know that Rackley signing Matt DiBenedetto would be one of the best signings that team has ever had. And if there's any consolation for all the Matt DiBenedetto fans, that, you know, that replacement, that Matt DiBenedetto, that driver that replaced the Matt DiBenedetto at the Wood Brothers in the 2021 car at in Harrison-Burton, you know how he's doing in Cup? He's been pretty forgettable in Cup. If there's any consolation prize there for all the DiBenedetto fans. But hey, DiBenedetto, the bad news for DiBenedetto is his two best tracks, Bristol and Talladega, are in the round of 8. I mean, if he can make it to the round of 8, he possibly could bullshit his way into the Final 4. Just because his two best tracks are in the round of 8. But he has to make it past the round of 10 first. Could he do it? Maybe. But I just don't have enough confidence in that equipment to say so. But, you know, always a possibility. And then the final driver for the Truck Series chase, Matt Crafton. Oh, you made it back again? By the skin of your teeth? By just doing the absolute bare minimum to not fuck up? I'm supposed to be impressed considering you're a 4-time champion. You know what, Crafton? You're fucking irrelevant. Crafton has no business being in the fucking chase. He is fucking terrible. Like, honestly, there are at least 4 drivers I can name that are more worthy of a chase spot than Crafton. Stuart Friesen, Jake Garcia, Tanner Gray, and there's somebody else in there, but they're definitely more worthy than Crafton. But at least those 3 are more worthy of a chase spot than Crafton. Crafton took advantage of everyone collapsing on themselves late in the season, and Crafton just so happened to be the last man standing and did the bare fucking minimum to not fuck up. But yeah, if Crafton's and listen, I know everyone's gonna say, oh, but Crafton's made the Final 4 in the Truck Series chase every odd number of year. That doesn't fucking matter to me. Crafton has been fucking forgettable all season, pretty mediocre at best. But pretty fucking trash in trucks. Like, honestly, Crafton should just go in the corner with all the other wannabe drivers in trucks and just simply fuck off. Other drivers probably would do better in the chase than Crafton. Crafton is a round 1 elimination waiting to happen. But anyway, those are your 10 drivers for the Truck Series chase. So, the round of 10, we have Luke IRP, the return of the Milwaukee Mile, and Kansas. So, out of these 10, who will make it to the round of 8? So on the screen here are the 8 drivers I have advancing to the round of 8, and all the winners highlighted in red because the Craftsman colors. So IRP, I have IRP going to Carson Hocevar. Like last year, Hocevar was arguably the best driver and had the best truck in that race until he decided to be a bit of a dumbass and wreck people. Like the fact he didn't get suspended for right hooking Colby Howard at the end was kind of asinine by bad, incompetent NASCAR officiating, because that incident happened before Bubba Wallace decided to try and murder Kyle Larson at Vegas last year. But I think Hocevar so far bounced back, and I think Hocevar bounces back and takes that next step forward and gets another win on a short track at IRP. The Milwaukee Mile, well, that's going to be a mystery race because Truck Series hasn't run at that track in over a decade in Milwaukee, so there's going to be a lot of question marks for that one. But I mean, last year when we had a track return in a chase, it was IRP and Enfinger won that race. So I think lightning strikes twice in this situation, and I think Enfinger wins. I think for the second year in a row, Enfinger will win at a track returning in the chase, and that will be this time the Milwaukee Mile. And in Kansas, this was really a toss-up between Corey Heim and Zane Smith, but I'm going to go Corey Heim. I just think Heim has been better on the 1.5 miles than Zane Smith consistently, so I'm going to say Corey Heim takes that one. And I got Zane Smith, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, and Nick Sanchez making it into the round of 8 on points. So the 2 drivers I have out in the round of 10 are Matt DiBenedetto and Matt Crafton, the 2 Matts. Like DiBenedetto, I think DiBenedetto, I think he's talented enough to make it to the round of 8. I'm just not sold on his equipment. Like, I think his equipment's going to hold him back from the round of 8. And then Matt Crafton. Crafton has no fucking business being in the chase. And I think Crafton's a round 1 elimination to happen. I know everyone's going to say, but Crafton Final 4 odd number a year. I don't care about that. All trends have to end and be snapped at some point. I think that trend is going to snap this year and that will be dead. Like, honestly, out of the three, like, that 8 spot is between Sanchez, Crafton, and Benedetto. And I think this round benefits Sanchez more than the other 2. So, yeah, those are my 8 drivers I have advanced into the round of 8. Now, the round of 8, we have Bristol, Talladega, and Homestead, Miami. Out of these 8, who do I have making the Final 4 for the Trucks Chase? A.K.A., which 4 drivers am I jinxing this year because I never learned my lesson? So, on the screen here are the 4 drivers I have making it to the Truck Series Final 4. So for Bristol, I once again have that race going to Ty Majeski. Just Ty Majeski's always been solid on the short tracks. I feel like Majeski's going to win a race. And I feel like if there's any race Majeski's going to win, it has to be Bristol again. So I got Majeski winning Bristol for the 2nd year in a row in the chase, and he advances to the Final 4. For Talladega, I have nobody listed for Talladega because I think Talladega is going to be won by a non-chase driver. Because the last 4 years under this format, the truck race at Talladega has been won by a non-chaser. In the last 4 years, it's been a first-time winner at Talladega. 2019, Spencer Boyd. 2020, Rafael Wizard. 2021, Tate Fogelman. 2022, Matt DiBenedetto. This year, I mean, you can make a solid case for anyone in the field because Talladega, it's a total fucking crapshoot. Like, you could throw any fucking name and shit in a blender and it would be a solid choice. So for Talladega, I debate this one enough, but I think it'll be a first-time winner for a 5th year in a row, and it'll be a non-chaser. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to say Taylor Gray gets his first career Truck Series win at Talladega. So I got Taylor Gray winning Talladega. And for Homestead, I got Zane Smith winning Homestead. So, because I think Homestead's a solid track for Zane. So I think Zane finally gets that win at Homestead. So I got Zane Smith winning there. And I got Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar both making the Final 4 on points. So the 4 drivers I have out are Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, and Ben Rhodes and Nick Sanchez. Sanchez is just a rookie. He's just learning the system, just happy to even be in the chase. Ben Rhodes, I just haven't seen the consistency out of him that he had in 2021. I'm just not feeling it with him. Christian Eckes has been too inconsistent, and I just don't feel it from Eckes. I don't know if he's going to turn on a chase. And for Enfinger, I almost wanted to put Enfinger in the Final 4 because I think he could fuck around and make it in, but I feel like something's going to happen to Enfinger in this round at either Bristol or Talladega, and that's going to put him in a must-win hole at Talladega at Homestead that he's not going to be able to dig out of. So yeah, that's my Final 4 this year. Ty Majeski, Shane Smith, Corey Heim, and Carson Hocevar. So now, out of these 4 drivers, who do I have winning the 2023 Craftsman Truck Series title? So for my 2023 champion prediction, this was a tough one to go through. Ty Majeski, Majeski, he's had a consistency, just hasn't had the race winning speed to seal the deal. I think he'll at least get this. I think he'll at least get 1 win this year, but I just don't think he gets it done at Phoenix if he makes it in. Carson Hocevar, I think Hocevar 100% could win the title this year, and get it done at Phoenix. I think he could pull it off. Problem is, though, I think Darian is going to fucking tweet about him at Phoenix, and he's going to jinx him because Darian can't keep his goddamn fucking mouth shut on Twitter. Like, seriously, can we just fucking take Darian's phone and just chuck it into the fucking Atlantic Ocean at this point? I really think this championship, though, in the end, I think it's between Shane Smith and Corey Heim, the 2 best drivers all season. I mean, we've seen Shane Smith at this track at Phoenix. He's always been consistent at this race. Always has done well at Phoenix. Like, he's finished top 2 the last 3 years, and of course winning the title last year. Corey Heim, he's never been in this situation before in trucks, but he's always run well. He's been very consistent all year, and I think he'll be lights out at Phoenix. And by the way, I should mention for the 2023 season, I do not have the champion winning the season finale because, oddly enough, after doing some research, every odd number year under this chase format, the Truck Series champion on an odd number year has never won the finale. 2017, Christopher Bell won the championship, but the finale was won by Chase Briscoe. And of course, the infamous Crafton 2019 championship, where Crafton won the title without winning a single race. Austin Hill won the finale. And then 2021, Ben Rhodes 2021 championship. He didn't win the finale. The finale was won by Chandler Smith. So for 2023, for the finale, I'm going to go on a limb for the finale and say probably Grant Enfinger wins the finale as my pick to win the finale. But for my champion who finishes 2nd or 3rd in the finale, I think it's going to be the most consistent driver all season this year. I think it's Heim time for Corey Heim. Corey Heim's my pick for the Truck Series title. I think it's Heim time. I think everything is piece coming together for Corey Heim to finally win a championship in NASCAR. Like, Corey Heim has been the bridesmaid on a couple occasions, especially in ARCA in 2021. But I think this time, he'll finally become a champion. See, I think Corey Heim is going to win the 2023 Truck Series title. I just feel like everything's piecing it together. Like, I know at the start of the season I said Shane Smith would win back-to-back titles, but I just feel like at this point in the season, when it matters the most, I think Corey Heim has been more consistent, has performed better when it mattered than Shane Smith this year. Now, whether that stays the same or not is yet to be seen, but I feel like Heim gets it done at Phoenix. But yeah, that is my 2023 Truck Series Chase predictions. Who I think wins the championship. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope everyone's a great day. And what are your predictions? Time to debate. But yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up here. I'll see you all whenever I make next, and I'm out. Now watch me be completely wrong after the first round because that is just my luck with this.